Hey, Nathan here. Welcome back to the last video of the PGL2D Alpha series. And in this video, it's just going to be a general discussion. Not much will be shown on the screen. Just about looking back on the series. We already finished all the tutorials. So the first video of a series, I like to do a series introduction, kind of what to look for and how the structure will be laid out for the series. And the last video of a series, I like to do a looking back and kind of have my thoughts. So I'm going to break this up into two different things, a developer's perspective and a content producer's perspective. So let's discuss about the first thing, developer's perspective. So it's a good idea to kind of break things apart as much as possible and have things loosely coupled. Sometimes that can be very difficult to do. The first part, breaking things apart as much as you possibly can, that's very easy to do. And that's, you've seen all these early tutorials. They're like 3 minutes long. They're interfaces, and sometimes they only have 1 or 2 lines of code. So that's good. That's using the single responsibility principle. And that is a good thing to implement. That way, you don't have, if you're creating something open source or you have other people working on your game or program with you, you don't have a class that is thousands and thousands of lines long. Everything is separate. You don't have a method that can take up more than one screen size. You don't have methods that do multiple actions. It's single responsibility. This method only does this. Now, a few things I want to make a comment on, and a few things that I people will have different thoughts either way on this. Let's take, for example, you're creating a website or you're creating a Windows application, and you want to do multiple things for one button press. Like if you press a button, it will, activate a user and send an email. Whenever you say and or, that means you're doing multiple actions. But that button has to do those multiple actions. So what that button press will do is just call two methods. And that's fine. That one method will be create a user. Another method will be send an email. But that method will just call those. That method for the button handling will not actually do that processing. That method handling will call a method to create a user, and it will call a method to send an email. So that splits it up into single responsibility. You are only creating the user, and you are only sending the email. That way you know, oh, there's a problem with user creation, I go to this method. Oh, there's a problem with email creation and sending, oh, I need to go to this method here. So that is my idea of what I wanted to do for this project. And it's a good thing to do because I'm making it open source and people can look at it and they don't want to see a class that has 3,000 lines of code. So splitting it up as much as possible is a good thing to do. Okay, for the content producer's point of view. As you see on the screen here, look at all the earlier tutorials. Structure is 3 minutes, 59 seconds. Yeah, that's okay. But look at tutorial number 4, 1 minute 40, or even worse, tutorial number 5, 1 minute and 2 seconds. So my whole idea was, when I first started releasing these videos, and my whole idea of the actual, as I was recording them, was that each class will have a dedicated video to go along with it. And that was a good idea at the time. And I knew that this would happen, so there were 2 reasons why I decided to release these daily. One is that I haven't released any content in a while. Actually, there's 3 reasons. 2 is that, for what you see here, there are some tutorials that are extremely short. I don't want to have these done weekly and have 1 week where I upload tutorial number 5. Alright, this week, you're getting tutorial number 5 and it's only 1 minute. Alright, now you have to wait until next week, which will only be about 2 minutes and 49-second video. I didn't want to do that. For the third reason is that I didn't want to upload all these all at once. I didn't want to bottleneck my bandwidth, and I didn't want all these all at once. Let's see, that is 5.66 gigabytes. I could have done it. My Final Fantasy X Let's Plays are around 20 gigabytes, and I upload those, and it only takes about 2 hours. So I could have did this all at once, but my whole idea for the whole reasoning behind recording this all at once was to give me a consistent backlog of tutorials. Yeah, I have all these done at once, all these ready to be uploaded, but I don't want you guys sitting there for a month without any content. So this is something new. I've never done this before, so this was a learning experience. And by that what I mean by that is by like the tutorial 4, when I uploaded that, I received a comment and kind of reflected my feelings about it initially. And I thought it was going to be okay because it was going to be daily, but that comment really kind of connected with my thoughts on it. Like, doing this and then going back and looking at it, yeah, this isn't going to be a very good tutorial to upload. 1 minute and 2 seconds, that's not going to be a very good tutorial. Because every tutorial I do an introduction. Hello, welcome to the next tutorial. Or this tutorial, we're going to cover blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, I do a closing. Stay tuned for the next tutorial. So it's actually, the actual content for the tutorial is only about 40 seconds or so in this tutorial. So that comment on that video reflected my feelings on this. But my 3 criteria that I listed before made me decide to upload these separate. So, going forward, here is what I'm going to do for the next series. And I might have to make adjustments. Again, this is a new format, so adjustments will be made, and this is a learning experience. Going forward for the next series, I am planning to just record it all at once. See, for this one, I went and discussed the structure. Okay, then I stopped the recording. Then I created a new recording. Alright, I discussed iMovable. Alright, I stopped the recording. Alright, started the recording. Alright, I discussed iRemovable. So as I was recording, I separated the content. So going forward for the next series, I'm going to record it all in one giant video. And then I will split up the content. Obviously, that one single video might be multiple parts, because I might do it one day and then wait a few more days and then might do it again. I'm actually halfway through that video and I need to finish the next half this week. And that will be for the flat paddles. And actually, half that video is about 30 minutes, so yeah, I didn't want to run into the same issue. And there are a few interfaces in there as well that only have a couple lines of code. So I didn't run into the same situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that video up after I record it. I'm going to pick about like a 10-minute minimum for each section. And if I do multiple things, I'll say like structure and interfaces. If I discuss multiple interfaces, I will label the tutorial 1 structure and interfaces. So where we discuss the structure, where we create the folders, and I discuss how to create the interfaces. And then the next part will be, paddles, where I discuss the player paddles, the enemy paddle, and then the paddle control type thing. And then the last video, it might only be 3 videos this time, it will just discuss the last few classes. So going forward, I'm going to group a few of the classes together, especially the short ones. I will record the entire series. Now, it might be more difficult later on when I get to more complex things, when I have like a 20-hour recording that I need to cut up. But for now, this is what I'm going to do. As I'm recording, I'm going to just hit the start recording and go until I want to quit. If I finish a class in 1 minute, I'm going to go to the next class. I'm going to go to the next class, and I'm going to go to the next class. I'm going to create a new interface. I'm just going to go until I need to leave or until my mouth is just can't take it anymore. Then I will combine all those parts together, and I will create a full series video. And I'll save that for later. And I will master that file. I'll go back and edit that file and create actual tutorial parts and cut those up. Then I will go back and record introductions. I'll probably use like a PowerPoint or some kind of slideshow for the introduction and closing for that. And then the introduction will have like a PowerPoint. In this tutorial, it'll cover this. And then maybe have a slide or two, something like that. And then we'll jump into the actual tutorial, and then jump out to the slideshow where I discuss. Next tutorial, we'll discuss this. And that will be the actual tutorials. Now, once I get all that done, I will upload each part. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, assuming this is a 3-part video. And I'll go back to doing that weekly. And remember, the minimum I want to have for the actual tutorials will be 10 minutes long. Obviously, more if I'm in the middle of working on something when that 10-minute hits. But I don't want to go any lower than 10 minutes. I don't think that's a very good thing. If it's a longer video, if it's like a 20-hour video, I might push it up to like 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever. But for the absolute minimum, 10 minutes. So that will be my goal. After all those parts are uploaded, I will finally upload. Of course, I'll upload a series like Tutorial 0, series introduction, and what I'm doing now is the looking back. I'll still record those. After everything has been done, I'll upload one video that has the full series. The first video that I created. That will be the full series video. I will do that at the end of a series. That way, if people do not want to watch each individual tutorial part, they will just watch the full series. So there's 2 ways to watch it. If you want to split it up, watch it tutorial 1, then watch tutorial 2, then watch tutorial 3. You can do it that way. If you just want to watch one 41-hour video, 40-minute video that has a full series, you can do it that way too. So that is my plan going forward, and how I plan to fix the issues that happened as this was coming out. Okay, so that is the discussion on content producing side of this. I hope you enjoyed the series, and I hope you will enjoy the next series where we actually get to use the PGL2D Alpha project. And I hope to get more, as these are going on, I hope to get more game math and game algorithms tutorials going. And I'm probably going to redo some of the older stuff, since that was made for X and A. But I haven't decided yet. So stay tuned for the next few videos, which will be the flat paddles. And then I'm not going to push this to beta for the flat space shooter series. I'm just going to use the alpha version for that as well. And then I'll push this to beta for the tower defense game, because we'll add mouse control for that. And then probably next game, I will push this to full release. Alright, so that's it for this video. Next video will probably be out next weekend, possibly. I might have to adjust my calendar because that's 4th of July weekend. So that might push it to a week later, which would be the 10th. But I'm going to have a lot of time this week to record, so that should be good. Okay, so thanks for listening and watching, and stay tuned for the next series.